Hi, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Scenes. And we have a few giggles. The first is that Sharon gave us a really good computer hack. So if your lighting isn't great, on my computer it's F2, but on yours, Sharon, on my Mac it's F2, but
mine is F7.
But it's the sun. So if you look at the numbers on top and you see the one with the sunlight, it will brighten your day right away. And then Eka said, "What's the topic?" So we're going to make an introduction to tell you what the topic is, and apparently it will also inform Eka's answer. So we came up with a lot of topics, but for today, what we're going to talk about is, there's so much excitement about finishing school and starting summer, but if you're like my family, it doesn't matter if the transition is an exciting one or a dreaded one. They're all challenging. So moving from like the status quo to something new has just always been a struggle in my house. And starting with me, by the way. So I want to say that my biggest challenge, which remains my biggest challenge, is I have a hard time with endings. I often cry when I say goodbye to the teacher that I loved that my kids had, or if we finish a segment of school like early childhood, elementary. And then the really big one for me was the first time my oldest daughter went to overnight camp. And I just couldn't understand why everyone else wasn't sobbing like a major trauma was happening in their life. And then afterwards, someone called me up and said, "Is everything okay with you?" And I was like, wow. Anyhow, so I set the tone in my house for very terrible transitions. And we're going to hear from people who are just much better at this than I am. And so I'm going to pass it to Camira.
Hi, I was going to take off mute, but apparently I never put it on. I, unlike Sue, am always so ready to be done with things. Like that last month of school, I despise the commute. I'm tired of the color of so-and-so's car. I'm just ready to be done with it. So a transition is good for me. And at the end of the summer, I'm so ready to be done with summer, whatever it is. I don't want to be washing any more swim trunks and whatever it is. I'm done with it, and they need to go back to school and be in a routine, and we're done. What I do is I've always booked in summer with downtime. So that first week of summer is either a staycation, or if we can do a low key like beach run or something like that, do that to like decompress from all that's happened. Because the end of the school year is always really busy for everybody in a household. And then I do the same thing. I try to do it for maybe 10 days for right before school starts, to everybody take a breath and be ready. Don't go rushed into the school year. So let's do staycation. Let's read some books. Again, if we can, take a couple of days to go somewhere. Sometimes we go visit relatives and just have a nice calm time. That's how we manage our transitions. It works for me. I'm not sure how well it works for the rest of the family. I think that they're just coming along with me. But I like it. It works for me. I'm gonna shoot it up to Eka.
I just want to point out that that's really all we worry about, Camira. That it works for us.
At the end of school, I realized that when that transition comes, when everybody's home, like nobody does anything. There's no planned meals, there's nothing, and then that goes on for about a week or 10 days. When then I have to kind of rein it in and say, hey, you know what? We can't just be sleeping till noon. We can't just be, eating whatever. Oh, maybe I should cook a meal. So we kind of do this whole, like going into summer, where everything just kind of falls apart. And I let it until I realized that this could really become a new way of life. And I don't think that's the best way for us to live as a family. So I'm the one who calls it, because I think if I didn't, I think everybody would be really happy with getting up at noon, rummaging through the refrigerator or the cupboards to eat whatever they wanted, and just like on their phones all day. So I then say, hey, you know what? Let's figure out what we're going to do as a family. So that's what I've got. Let's hear what you've got, Sharon.
Well, I'm learning lessons at your feet, Eka, because we are in the same situation where, like, what is going on? I mean, last Wednesday was their first day out. So this is all brand new. The first night, one of my teenagers stayed up till God knows when. I know it was a single digit AM hour. And I was like, no, we're not doing that all summer. I understand, you know, they want to cut loose a little bit. They want to relax. They want to not have a schedule. But the fact is, everybody else in the house is going to wake them up at some point, and it's just, they're not going to get good sleep. And I can't do it with that schedule. And other issues are that we have, you know, evening things going on. We have a kid who works mostly in the evenings because they scoop ice cream. So who knows what's going on with dinner? I don't. And I maybe I'm one of the adults in the house who's supposed to know that thing. But I like, Camira, your idea of a little trip. And I accidentally did this weekend. My brother has a little farm. I took my two younger kids. My oldest was getting wisdom teeth out, so too bad for him. But I took, he's fine. I took the younger two to my brother's little farm, and it was just such a really nice, like, getaway that was very simple. We were outdoors. We spent time with family. So I didn't know I was doing like a transition into summer thing, but it was perfect. So I have no idea where this is going but I do feel the need for some kind of structure, like some kind of, like, you know, look ahead at the week and see which days are going to be hot, which days they might want to go to the pool, and figure out some easy dinners that can, you know, we can pull out of the fridge or whatever, but we have not figured any of it out. So Mindy, tell us your wisdom.
My wisdom is I always thought I did great with transitions and loved summer and this, until my husband said to me, I realized there was a pattern after a couple of years. He would say to me, now, Mindy, remember transition. You need to, it's always going to be a rough couple of weeks or two. And I just thought it wasn't me, it was my boys. But I realized, yeah, I guess I like a little bit of control. I liked, for instance, when my boys were all in school, the house was mine. I could do what I wanted, come and go when I wanted. I kind of had my routine. I'd work out or grocery shop or work here, and then all of a sudden they're home, and this one's got to go here, and that one's got, and then he's eating then, and I just had a really hard time with, like, get out of my office or get out of my, and it was like, whoa, okay. So I always had the mindset from when they were younger, take your time, realize it's a transition, hold your breath, or, you know, not hold your breath. What's the saying? Take deep breaths, and just realize it's going to be a transition. I just found it hard. So I had very little wisdom. I guess my husband was more wiser than I. And, you know, after 2 weeks or so, okay, then we're in the flow. Then we're in the flow of summer, and I get it. But my only thing was, I always looked forward to it. They're going to be home, relaxing. We can hang out. We can do that. And it just, the first 2 weeks never worked that way. So,
that is actually super helpful. I was looking, that is wisdom that you shared with us, just to not kind of lower your expectations in some ways, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. Okay, good. I'm done. I'll then throw it on to Jen. Down to Jen.
Isn't that just like our overall theme? Like, I feel like that comes up so often. Just lower your expectations, and then you'll always be happy. That works in so many situations. But transitions are very interesting. We actually have one member, extended family member, not somebody in my immediate household, who it helped so much when a few years ago somebody had the great wisdom and insight to realize that this person doesn't handle goodbyes well when we visit. And it manifests in some really abrupt behavior. Like, all of a sudden, this person seems like they don't want anything to do with you, and they're like ready to sweep you up. And we realized, oh, that's the way that person handles the transition, because they're worried about, they're going to miss us. And so they're making it easier for themselves to say goodbye, but the rest of us are suffering the consequences. So I love the fact, Mindy, that your husband recognized this about you. And he's like, I know what the warning signs are, and I realize what's coming.
Well,
So
Jen,
so
warning signs are a nice way to put it. I would say I was the B word for a while. Just, you know, so thank you for the warning signs. I appreciate that.
Right. I mean, like, we all want somebody to understand us, but we don't realize sometimes that we're getting in our own way. In my house, we never really had too much trouble transitioning to lack of structure or schedule, because we all were really kind of happy to be done with the homework, done with the, the scheduled meetings people had to go to. I loved the longer days. I loved the freedom to eat or not eat at different hours. So I also remember as a teenager being super annoyed with my dad for mowing the grass at 1 o'clock in the afternoon while I was still sleeping. So I tried to cut everybody a little slack for a while. But about midway through the summer, I would start angsting about needing to go back to the regular life. And that is really the hard thing for us, like trying to get back into the groove. Some point you have to remind them that they have summer homework, which I hate. They hate it more. And it just starts to kind of like dampen the latter half of the summer. So I have to know going into the summer that at the midway point, I'm going to start to like have pre-nostalgia for my relaxed, lovely summer. And I'm going to start worrying about the fact that we have to go back to the routine. And I recognize that in my kids too. Like they would start to get a little anxious about things. So you might think summer, great, everybody's off and everybody's going to be relaxed and easy. But actually, I did find that the end of July, early August was a high anxiety time in our house because they're starting to think about it. Oh my God, I have to go back to school. I'm going to have to complete my homework. I'm going to maybe have different friends. Maybe they haven't seen some of their friends throughout the summer. So just kind of knowing that that's coming made it a little bit better. That it's that awareness, like Mindy's husband. I needed somebody to come tell me sooner, hey, guess what? This is going to happen every year and it's okay. Be ready for it. Just take everybody out for ice cream. That's my solution to everything. Back to Sue. Oh, Eka.
Okay, Eka.
I just remember that when one of our daughters, when she was younger, she came home and it was summer, the first day of summer, and she looks around and she's like, where's Dad? And I'm, what do you mean, where's Dad? And she's like, doesn't he have summers off too with us? And I was like, sorry, babe, that's not the way this works. She thought everybody got the summer off. I just had to throw
that is such a rude awakening when they realize, oh my gosh, people work all year round.
I remember where I was sitting for my first job after college, and I was like, I think it was October, and I thought, this is it. This is how it looks. Like you don't get summer off. I was like really devastated. So I don't know. I mean, there's so many memes about mom making dinner that I assume I'm not the only one, but I would be so happy to make one meal a week and make it really lovely. I don't want to do it every day. So when summer rolled around and I work at my kitchen table and the kids would come in and go, what's for lunch? And I was like, lunch is not happening. You are going to do lunch. I don't even want to do dinner. So I would pick myself up and move and open up a table in my bedroom and close the door. So I was not in the kitchen when it was lunchtime, because that was like the very worst part for me. Like, I don't want dinner on my plate as a responsibility. I certainly don't want lunch on my plate as a responsibility.
Sue, I totally endorse that. I had the exact same issue. And I would tell them even before school let out, I would remind them, remember, lunch is FYO. Fix your own.
But then it was the mess. See, this is the stuff that would during the year, I'm home, I have my lunch, I do my thing. Now it's like, wait a minute. An hour ago, someone ate, then someone ate, then someone ate, then there's food, then there's... So to me, it's that whole put the dishes in the dishwasher, try wiping the counter, and then there's nothing to eat. And so it took me a while. It's the yin and the yang of it. And then you get all of a sudden like, I don't care, it'll be fine. But it definitely took me a while to get used to all that. No structured meals, no set. Anyway, I'm a little more control freak than I thought I was.
No, but the truth is, Mindy, it is like for me, it's such a struggle. My youngest he's actually a really good cook, and he'll make I don't remember who makes a fried filet. Like which restaurant is known for their fried filet with like the sauce? Chick-fil-A. So he found the recipe. It's like his signature thing. You walk into my kitchen when that meal is done, it is oil on the counter with flour on top of it. It is a disaster zone, but like, do I want to say don't cook anymore? It's such a toss-up. And I'm not going to have the battle, because if I fight him over cleaning as well as cooking, he'll say, well, then fine, I won't I'm not going to cook again, right? So I don't know. It just always feels like this toss up of like, make your own lunch. And I guess what comes along with it typically is that something's going to be messy.
Mindy, the breaking point for me was the drinking glasses. Because everybody gets one glass, takes one sip, puts it on the counter, forgets it's theirs. Then the next time they want to sip, they go get another glass, and constant. And I spent the whole day just putting them in the dishwasher.
Okay, so I had a hack for that.
Please.
I had plastic cups, and I wrote their names on a cup. They each had a cup that was theirs, and it was like you get one a day.
I think my mom did that. She got like a set of colored cups, and like your green, your blue, your yellow,
Yeah, that works too.
For a week.
I tried color coding something one time, and it didn't work because no one remembered what their color was. So this was like you know your name when you see your name on the cup. You know.
My mom did that with socks, with white socks. We each had a colored thread, and she sewed a little bit. I mean, that is a big step in and of itself. She sewed a little bit of your color into the seam of the sock, so she could sort them.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's so funny you say about the cups because I would go, whose is this? Not mine. Not mine. Is this yours? Is that, so the color coding or the different, very, very smart because it was never anyone's glass that was left anywhere. So, yeah.
So going to the laundry until I decided that they all had to do their own laundry and I gave everybody a basket, I would do their laundry all together and I'd throw it into the guest bedroom on the bed and I'd say, everybody, come get your clothes. And every single time there were like 10 items that no one claimed. So it's like,
who's like the lost and found at a middle school?
At anywhere.
Exactly.
It's nobody's. So I was like, all right, well, I'll give it away. But it's somebody's. Someone wore it. All right. Camira, who are you interviewing tomorrow?
I am so glad you asked, and I'm going to pull it up in the book. Tomorrow I have Ann Coleman. That's right. Ann Coleman is going to talk to me. She's a mom who is going to share her experience with her teen son going through learning challenges, substance use, being in a residential treatment center and coming out on the other end. So we're going to hear her story and get her tips and helpful hints. Tomorrow, 10:30 a.m.
And okay, great. I was trying to add something into the comments, but now I can't remember exactly what you said. So you add it in when we're done and let people know what it's about so I don't get it wrong. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next Monday.